We are live. We are live. Hey guys, we are live. It's the first live I've done on this channel. Hey, what's up? I am the nerdy entrepreneur, and we are doing live for the first time. We're gonna do more of these. I don't mind going on live, so we'll do a bit more of these. And just to show you, I got this as a wonderful birthday gift, and we will be connecting or hooking this up. Um, as well. So it'll be a little bit of an unboxing. This is a late birthday gift from me or to me because we needed some headphones. Folks got a little tired of me not being able to have headphones with a mic. And it made things a little bit more difficult. But anyway, welcome to the first live stream of the Nerdy Entrepreneur. Hope you're having a good morning. It's morning where I'm at. And some of you might be on your way to work, which is always a good thing, or you're coming home from work, or you're bored. So hopefully you can hang out with me for a little bit or listen to me in the background. That's perfectly okay as we do this unboxing for stuff that will make our streams or my videos a little bit better, which is better headphones. Um, this is them. I do not have any endorsements from this company. I literally just got this as a gift. So we're going to see how this works. I won't do too much on here to disturb the stream, but what we wanted to talk about. Let's keep this receiver. Last thing I need to do is lose it, right? We wanted to talk about is want to talk about money goals a bit. Today is the 31st of May. It's the last day in May, and we're walking into June, which is tomorrow. Start first day of June, and oh crap, almost broke the TV. Thank God I didn't do that. But we're talking about money goals a bit, and some of the money goals that I'm planning out and making, and how we're going to uh, achieve those goals as well, because I think that's an important topic. Something that I kind of sort of got reminded of by my business coach and mentor. Okay, is about money goals, and what he really asked is our revenue goals. You know, the end of the quarter, what are we going to do? What's our revenue goals? And then he asked, well, what are you going to do with that money? Because his philosophy is like, look, when you're making money, especially when you're trying to hit a goal and go further, you need to have a plan for that money, or else that money just magically disappears, as he says, because we didn't make a plan for the money. And then also, when things get tough, when they get hard, what winds up happening is what winds up happening for us is that we tend to give up faster because there was no real goal, there was no light at the end of the tunnel that we set for ourselves to get. So we were going through an exercise of, hey, end of the quarter, new month. What is your revenue goals? And then everyone was like thinking about it, planning it out, what our revenue goals were going to be. And after that, he asked, like, a next session we all had together in training. All right, now what are you going to do with it? Like, what is your plan for this revenue? And he said this before. It's like, look, every dollar you make in your business has to have a plan. What it's its use. Not that you have to spend it, but you have to at least a plan for things. And I forget that a lot, right? Because we kind of work in, okay, we got the money. How am I going to spend it? That I cover my salary? Did I cover the salary of the people I have to pay? Uh, do we have to cover loans and stuff? And then emergencies happen, and kind of screws up everything. But having an actual plan for your revenue is something I want to keep ingraining in my head to make sure that when I'm putting up numbers to hit, that we are also we're also doing something towards it, that is a reason for what we are doing. And that's going to be important for you, whether you stay on this channel or not. You subscribe, and I hope you subscribe too, because I'm trying to get to my 1,000 folks. But also, I like interacting with people, and like, maybe if you learn something from me that stops you from making a terrible mistake in your business journey, or maybe I inspired you to start your business journey, even on the side, because I'm a fan of getting a small business together, side hustle. And then when you get to a point where if you want to quit your job, you can, or maybe you may never want to quit your job, but you wanted to save up for college or get yourself out of debt. I'm a big fan of those things there. So I always encourage that. So if I inspire that, I'm happy to inspire that. And all I ask at this point is for you to subscribe to the channel and ding the notification so you know when I go live and put videos up. That's really all I ask for at this moment from you guys. Anybody who watches this in the future. But as I'm making the SMR noises to get my new headset out, um, some of you, this is going to drive you crazy. Like, I had the noise. I was like, it's okay. You'll be fine. Ooh, I don't want to break my headphones. That would be terrible. Like, hey, how'd you like my gift? I broke it. So as I'm doing, oh, they got this on real good and sticky. I was not expecting to struggle with this. My bad. But hold on. 'Cause I did say I'm doing this. Doing the stream. Okay, cool. Don't break it. Okay, we're good. This is real sticky. Right. So in terms of money goals, like I have a business. Maybe if you're watching this, you don't have your business yet. And that could be a thing. Maybe, right now, you don't have your business and you're thinking about your business. Um, what I have always told people when they asked and they're trying to figure out who they are to who they are to whoever that is, I always said this. I was like, look, what you're going to need to do when you're starting a business is have a reason for why you're doing it. Okay. Um, or else, when stuff gets hard and everything else, you're not going to want to do it. Things are always going to get in the way. Okay. So it's important to have a goal and whatever that revenue goal is for you. And it's going to be different for different people, right? You may not be full time, an entrepreneur where all the money you make is what determines your salary, right? You may not be in like kind of what I do. Maybe you're working a job. You have to come up with some kind of goal for the month. And maybe now the way things are kind of happening in the world where there's random layoffs that are not so random in a lot of tech spaces. I have a lot of friends who are at tech companies that have gotten laid off, and most of them have bounced back and got another job. But, it just goes to show that, job security, these are people who are really smart, really good at what they do. And they are subject to, losing their jobs, at the drop of the dime, at the whim of, whatever a board decides to do, or, to do a layoff, whether or not they deserved layoff or not. And so, the idea of thinking about your finances and that, what's my goal for the month? What's my revenue goal for the month in whatever it is I'm doing? And then also thinking, well, what am I going to do with this money? What is the purpose of me doing this for this money? Is something that probably even folks who don't intend to start a business are going to have to kind of sort of think about in a way. Now, they may not use the same terms, but they're probably going to start needing to think about it based on kind of what's happening, because things are a little crazy right now. And as we're in this very weird time period. So even if you're not an entrepreneur, this might be a little helpful to you, the way I'm kind of thinking about it. Oh, look at our headset. See? Now we'll just have to plug it in later for it to charge, but not quite right now. So we have the discussion. Um, but it's a serious conversation that a lot of us are going to need to have as to, what are our goals for the month? What are we doing? As trying not to destroy my office setting in the back here. Okay, cool. All right, so I got everything set up correctly. Cool. So for you, out there, you know, and you have a business, how do I think about my revenue goals for the month. One, how much expenses do I have to pay? Right? What are my expenses that I have to cover? Now, for me, I have my salary from this. I have people I hired. Some are freelancers, some are not freelancers, they're employees that I have to cover for them. I have other business expenses that I must cover to keep myself in operation, to be able to have some marketing capacity that I can pay for. And also, there's things that I also want to, reach out to, right? And those all go into what revenue numbers I need just to operate, just to be okay, right? But that's the basic number. And then I have to think about some emergency stuff or having slack because I like slack in my budget. And then when I think about what that number is, what I need to be whole for me, what I need to be whole for the company, and then beyond that, usually you put a multiplier to that. Maybe the multiplier is 3 because I actually do pay taxes. I know, a lot of YouTubers during the business space don't talk about taxes, but we pay, well, some of us pay taxes. Some of us pay taxes. I can't speak for everybody, right? Some of us have taxes to pay and we have to account for that. So maybe based on my expenses and everything else, I need to put a 3 times multiple to know that if I have this much, I know a third of this is going, at least a third of this will probably go in taxes. But at least I have tax money and I'll have some a budget built in so I'm not feeling like I'm drowning, right? Or insecure about whatever we do if we make the revenue number. And then as you're trying to grow your business, you're trying to expand what that number is, right? And that's the basis of it. But as my mentor pointed out, what are you going to do with this revenue? If all you need for your business to operate, you pay your salary, you handle your business is 6,000 and you handle whatever tax thing you have to do. If all that is $7,000 a month, great. Coast on $7,000 a month. But know what that is for. But if you need to upgrade something, if you need to go on a business trip, if you like to make more money, that's not included in that because you've just limited yourself to that number if it's 7,000, right? And so you want to expand those numbers, especially if you're tracking to a particular bigger goal at the end of the year. So, in terms of this June coming up, which starts tomorrow, I'm calculating what I would like my revenue numbers to be. Now, there are things in life that I want to have done. There are expenses that I want to cover because I want the services, right? And the services cost money. And I believe people should get paid. So, so with that, I know that I have to increase what my business brings in, and I want my business to grow anyway. That's just a given. But also, I want a business that is not my job, right? So I'm in the process now, especially with the business I am building, to make sure that I can take myself out of much of the day to day as possible. And that requires hiring some people. So when he asked, "Hey, what are you going to do with this money?" I had to list out on, a piece of paper for me what I was going to do, right? And I was like, well, I need more agents, yeah. But what is a thing that I'm doing now that someone else can do that I want someone else to do that would actually save me some time during the week or the month? And I was like, you know what? I really need a customer service onboarding person. I need someone who can filter certain customer service uh, complaints or check on a customer of ours, as well as someone who can do the onboarding of a new customer, right? That's what I need. That's what I need to do. And I was like, well, that person is going to cost a certain amount of money to have them work, let's say, full time or half time, and then make them full time, whatever, which way. And I was like, well, I need to be able to pay for that person, without hurting me. And I had to, figure it out and really think about it. It's like, yeah, I do need that person. Besides the agents, which I need this other person. This person is crucial to saving me time. This person is crucial to helping me make sure that we can give a good customer experience because we're a young company. And this, by the way, is about my lead management call center. By the way, this is the business I'm talking about. I know I'm known for my at least on here, people subscribe for the cleaning business. I'll talk about that later, right? So I had to think about that. So I need agents, and I need this other person who's going to be handling an operational part of my business that takes up a lot of my time because I got to do customer service. I got to do all onboarding. So it limits the amount of time I have to like do other things that are important, like sales. So I need this person, and this person is important. And so I hadn't really considered that because I just gave myself a revenue number. I didn't think what I was going to do with that money. And then when we had that meeting, a couple of days ago, he's like, "Hey, you got to think about this." And I didn't think about that. And I was like, "Oh, I do want that person in my business. I do need that person in my business, or else I would have just given myself a job, right?" And that's what I'm not particularly trying to do. So in a business sense, I came up with a number based on what I knew my expenses were going to be, what I knew my salary needed to meet, what I need, some things we wanted to have done. But I really didn't think about uh, when I raised the number that I actually need to run my business. I didn't think about what I was going to do with that extra revenue until he said that and made us think about it, made us write that stuff down, and then made us say it too. So I'm like, yeah, I didn't think about this. Now I know, hey, I needed this other person. I knew I was going to hire agents. That was a given because we got more customers now. And we're getting more coming. So I needed agents. But I didn't think about the customer service onboarding person, the person who's going to save me a lot of time. I didn't think about that person at all. And I increased my goal of the revenue for the month, but I did not consider this person. And I'm planning on making all this extra revenue, but didn't consider the person who was actually going to help me have a better quality of life and allow me to actually grow my business more. And so I had to think about that. And I had to write that down and had to say it, right, to make it real. And that's something that, if you watch this, whatever your revenue goal is for the month, maybe your business is making 10,000 and you want to say, hey, I'm a double that. I'm gonna make 20,000. Well, great. Now that's your revenue goal. What are you gonna do with that money when you reach your revenue goal? What is it for? Because if you don't have a plan for that money, the money is going to find a mind of its own, and next thing you know, you're not going to have any money. And my business coach has said this multiple times. Said this happened to him. He said, "Hey, we would hey, we wanted to grow the business, and we have this revenue goal, and then we meet it, and then the money would disappear because there was absolutely no plan for the money." So like if there was a new training course, if they hired someone, if they would just spend the money without being conscious of the revenue goal, being conscious of, hey, why did we do this in the first place? Why did we kill ourselves to make more sales if we had no plan to do with the extra money? Because there's a famous saying that, uh, 50 Cent said this in an interview. Someone asked him about his business money and why he did certain things. And he said, well, he learned that if he doesn't spend it, the IRS is going to take it. And that is truth when you run a business. Okay. It's very much true when you run a business. So you have to have a revenue goal and you have to have a plan for what you're going to do with that money, right? Whatever you're going to do with that money, you have to have a plan for it. I'm not saying every single cent, but you have the general plan like, hey, I'm hiring people. I'm going to raise my salary because I have personal expenses I need to make. I need a new car. I got to pay for some medical bills. I need employees. I need a new software system. And we're going to put X amount of dollars because we want to do a certain type of marketing that's going to cost a certain amount of money. And now I'm more conscious. I'm going to try to keep myself accountable on this, as well as I'm trying to, hopefully for those of you who are business owners, you start thinking about this in a different way. Like, yeah, you want to grow your business in June. You want to turn around and do better than you did in May. But what are you going to do with that money? Are you going to use it to invest in learning a new skill that you need for your business or having an employee learn a skill for your business? Is it hiring someone, whether it's a VA or EA? Um, are you doing some cosmetic improvements in your business, but also for yourself, for your salary? Is there a medical expense you need to take care of or you want to take care of? Maybe you want some dental work done. Like I want some extra stuff done and it costs some dollars. You know, what are you doing this for? What are you going to put the effort and time into growing your business in the month of June for? What is the purpose of this money, right? And we all need to think about that if you're going to be in that aspect. Now, if you are new to business and you're still trying to figure out what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. Now, I've told this to people who've asked, and I've said, and this is what I've said. I said, look, why do you want to do this? Why do you want to go through the losing your weekends, losing your Netflix and chill time to start a business? What is the real reason? Oh, I don't want to work in my company. I'll say, okay, and what's beyond that? What do you want to do with your day? Because a business is not like, hey, I start at 9 and I end at 5 for most people, especially in the beginning. We work a lot of hours in the beginning trying to and stumbling and failing and then having some success in business. That's the kind of the way it goes for a lot of us. So, what is it that you're trying to do? How much money you want to leave your job? Do you know how much money you need to make to leave your job? Most people never know that number. I asked them, I was like, hey, how much money do you need to leave your job? Like, really, did you think about that? You got your health insurance, you got life insurance, maybe a car note, whatever, student loans or whatever. How much do you need to leave your job? Because a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm gonna start a business to leave my job, but they don't know the numbers. So you can't give yourself one a revenue goal for your side business right now because you haven't thought about the money that you're actually trying to achieve. So let alone trying to grow your business when you don't know the number you're going to achieve. So, when I'm talking to people, and I went through this too, so I'm just like, I'm not a saint. I went through this too. It's like, yeah, I want a business, but I didn't give myself a number to like, hey, I want to leave this job. I was like, I just don't want to be here anymore. Right. And I didn't figure out what my expenses were, what I needed to cover my own taxes, things that would come up. And I didn't figure that out. So, this is just lessons that I have learned also. But for those of you who are new, because I know some people in the channel, and we've messaged back and forth like, "Hey, you're new," and I'm like, "All right, if you want to leave a job, if that's the thing, then know how much. Keep track of your expenses for the next, couple of months. What do you spend, out in whatever, what do you need, and then multiply that number by 3 or 4 or so, right, based on all the things you need to cover." Because that's the number that you're going to have to be able to pay yourself from your business and understanding in your business that all that money ain't yours. If my business makes, $16,000 in revenue last month, that $16,000 did not go into my personal bank account. That was just the revenue for the business. I had to pay fees on that. I have taxes I have to allocate to where they need to go. I have employees that I have to pay their salary. I have business expenses and I have my own salary. So I only get a portion of that money, not the whole thing. And a lot of business owners and some old ones make this mistake, which is why we're always in trouble. When it comes to, oh, we got to do taxes, or we're ordering our business. If for some reason we're coming up zero and it doesn't make sense because we had this money come in, it happens all the time. So, with having a revenue goal, understand what that money is going to be used for, right? Because there's always something like there's like 6 different things that I want to get, right? And a lot of them is most out of those 6 different things, about 5 of them are all business related. And like, well, if I don't plan that in my revenue goal, if I don't plan that those dollars going to be allocated to that, either I'm going to buy this thing and be short somewhere, you know, or not be able to buy the thing that I want. So, like for the month of June, I'm figuring for the month of June that my minimum for this month I would like to hit is 16,000. Now this is for my call center business. This is a newer business that I'm talking about a bit more. So I want to hit at least that. Actually, I might want to hit 22. I'm trying to think. If I can add as many eight, because I'm hiring. I have employees, but I want to hire more employees. And then remember, if you didn't, I realized I needed a customer service onboarding person, which was someone I did not account for. So I have to do my numbers again to account for that new person. Then I realized, I do want that person, or else it's going to be hard for me to onboard people I close because I am the sales agent in my business, right? And I didn't account for that person, so I almost made a boo boo. And thank goodness that my uh, coach said, "Hey, did you account for this? This is what you want. Did you account for it?" No, I did not. So that was almost a mistake because I accounted for other people to hire and not the other person that actually I was going to need at the same time. So also bringing it back, I also needed to account for things that I wanted personally, right? Growing the revenue in the business does not always mean you grow your salary of your business, right? So I want to increase my salary because there are things that I want to have. And when I wrote that out and said out loud, I was like, okay, this goal that I had, this revenue number, because here's the thing about the revenue number. Whatever revenue number that you set. So if you're in your business and you said, hey, my revenue number for this month, my goal is $10,000. Okay. So if your revenue number goal is 10K, which is not necessarily hard to achieve depending on the business you are, like difference between a high profile service business versus a cleaning business number versus, you're a copywriter trying to hit that number versus you're selling, products online that cost like, $15 like these, oh sorry, these things right here, right? 10,000 is how do you get there is a little different. But if you set your number for June to be $10,000, I want you to think on this. Now that you set the goal, how are you going to get there? What are you going to do? Are you going to spend more money on advertising? Are you going to put more flyers out? Are you going to knock on more doors? You know, are you going to ask for referrals from past clients? Are you going to do some outreach on cold email or DMs or text messaging? Or are you going to pick up the phone and cold call? What are you going to do? Are you going to post on different social media, letting people know that you're open for business? What are you going to do consistently throughout this month to reach the goal of 10,000? So when we make these goals for these numbers every month, it informs the things we are going to do that month to achieve that goal. So if we're going to do all this work to hit that number and we have no idea what that revenue is for, and we have not thought, hey, every dollar has its place in my business. If we don't think like that, then we are doomed to mess up. We're doomed to mess up. So I know I'm going to hire sales agents. I know I'm hiring 2 to 3. I know one is going to be full time and 2 is going to be part time. I already know that. And so I accounted for that. I know what my base salary is. I accounted for that. I know everything else I got to cover. I accounted for that. I did not account for the another critical role in my business, which is having a customer service onboarding person. I didn't account for that. I didn't account that I wanted to raise my salary to cover certain things that I want to have done. Oh, I need, like, for instance, I'm looking to buy a new car. I kind of forgot about that. It's something on the back of my mind because it's not an immediate need, like I need it right now or I even need it next month. It's like, oh yeah, I need to start thinking about getting a new car before, something and how life works, something, crazy happens. But it was like something in the back of my mind that I kind of off and on because it's not an immediate need. It's like, I need a new car. It's like my phone, right? My phone damn near died on me. And thank God I have a backup phone. That's why I always have 2 phone lines. I have my main phone and my backup phone for various reasons. And that was one of the reasons. I was like, yeah, it's time to get a new phone. And I didn't account for that. And I was like, wait a minute. I kind of need to account for that because, uh, it just wasn't something that's important for me. Maybe you're like that where unless it's like immediate, you don't really, it's like it's in the back of your mind, but you got other things that come up and you're dealing with that. That's what happens, right? And so when I had to think about where's my revenue going, because I had my base number and then I had a multiplier on top, I said, okay, that's the goal I'm gonna hit. And it's like, okay, what are you gonna do with this extra money? I have no clue. I didn't account for that. And now I know that I'm a hire extra person. There's a couple other things that I want to have done, meaning I have to pay myself more salary. And I didn't account for those things. And now I'm accounting for it. So my revenue goal for June, I said I think my old revenue goal was like 15,000 and something. And now I'm realizing, I'm probably going to up that number a bit. I mean, recalculate that number because my effort to get to that number is based on that number. How much effort I'm going to put in, how many channels I'm going to actually market in to achieve that number, and the amount of hours I'm going to put in every week to make that number. So when you think about what your revenue goal is, think about where that money is going to be used for. Think of the purpose of that money. What's the purpose? Well, I have to pay my rent and household expenses, things like that. Uh, oh, I need to buy let's say a new cell phone, and you know what cell phone you want. You want a new iPhone, and that's going to be like 15. I think they are around $1,500, and I don't want to do a payment plan. And so you like, oh, I also want to hire another employee uh part-time to take care of X, you know, and I want to take this course to learn Y, whatever it is. And then you realize when you take the amount what that's going to cost you and then understand what all your responsibilities are on top of that business wise. And then what you want to do is add a little multiplier to it. I usually default to about a 3x multiplier. I just usually default to that. But depending on your business, it might be smaller or it might be a little larger. That's up to you. So maybe when you first thought, hey, I only needed $5,000 for my business, this is just an example. You realize that, hmm, no, not five. I actually need eight at minimum to cover things I need to cover with the new things I'm adding into there. I need eight. And then I want the multiplier. So maybe I do 2 times multiplier on that, right? So I need 16 to make sure I can hit that and cover my taxes comfortably and do what I need to do. And maybe that's what you do. And like, hey, my goal for June is 16K, or maybe your goal for June is 5,000 or 8,000. That's up to you and whatever business you have or business you're thinking about. But you know that in that number, if you achieve your goal, you know exactly where that money is being spent. So you don't have a whoops, oops moment when you realize, hey, my money ain't adding up in July. You won't have that because we have allocated what each dollar of our business is going towards, whether it's to your own salary and the extra things you needed, or whether it's to equipment or courses you had to buy to learn a skill or train your employees, whether it's hiring employees or maybe getting a new office space or a new computer, whatever it is. Our money that we generate for our business now has a purpose, and that's how we have to plan our goals, and that's how you do it. Think about the things that you have to cover, your needs of your business, the needs of yourself, and he wants, hey, I want a new car and I want to pay for it upright. I want to pay for it out front. Or I want a new phone and I just want to pay the money for the phone out front. Like I want to go in with $1,800. I just want to pay the $1,800 for phone. I don't want a payment plan. Right. That's a marvelous goal to go for. That's a marvelous goal to go for. And you incorporate that in your number. And maybe from there you add a little multiply, like a one times multi a 1.2 uh multiple to the number, or 1.5 multiple, or 2 times multiple to the number, and say, this is my number for the month. Now, what do I need to do to get to that number? What are my outreach methods for that number? Is it calling friends for referrals? Is it looking at past customers for referrals? Is it giving a crazy deal to get people excited and wanting to take you up on your offer? Is it putting out flyers around the neighborhood because you have a lawn mowing service, or a cleaning business or what have you? Is it going in Facebook groups and advertising there, or going to a Discord service and doing the same thing, like advertising in there? Is it emailing your email list with an offer or asking for a referral from your email list? Is it doing paid advertising channels in order to get sales, or social media? Whatever it is, maybe it's a speaking engagement in which you can pitch and get business. Whatever it is, you're going to do it based on the effort you think it'll take to reach that number. And then you're going to go hard on that effort to reach that number. So by the end of the month, the end of June, when you look at the number and what you've achieved, what worked, what didn't work, and let's say we're going to be positive here and say you achieve that number because we're going to be positive. Now you know where that money is going. There's no big surprises. There's no whoops moments, and you've accomplished a goal. And then you know what we do after that? Reassess, and we do it all again for July. So anyway, that's how you plan out your month and your revenue numbers. Um, think about the things you need to have covered. Think about the things you want in addition, like, hey, I want to go on vacation. I want to pay for some stuff, some schooling stuff for kiddies, or you want to stuff for your business, hire more people, whatever that is. Put a little multiplier on that. That's your number. And then you go from having that number to what are the things I'm going to do during the next coming weeks, the next few days to go hard on to achieve that number. And that's what you have to do. And I just wanted to talk about that for June, as I almost made the mistake because I have to reassess because I did not include things that I didn't think about including. And now that I'm actually going to reassess that number from what it was because now it needs to be a different number. But that's my plan to doing that today in the last day of May, May the 31st of 2023, so that tomorrow we can start the process, which I hope to, share some of that process with you, as well as talk about some things because some of you are interested in, making money online, which you can do multiple ways, and how to do that, hopefully in a way that's not detrimental to your family life, because there are some people who buy courses on top of courses on top of courses and they never implement, or they go all in on something that was never going to be promising and giving the kind of results that they wanted or needed. So hopefully I can talk a lot more about that in the channel and also do some more lives because I don't mind doing here. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Revisit this video. If you have questions, please leave it in the comments. Let me know so I can address them later. Have a good day. This is from the Nerdy Entrepreneur.